So hello everyone, and welcome to this first in a series of chats with our ThinPrint partners and customers. My name is Russell Crawford and I've been working for ThinPrint for a number of years now, and it's my pleasure today to introduce you to Brian Supple, who is the Technical Director over at ProCloud in Ireland. Brian, welcome. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Russell. How are you?
I'm good, keeping busy, as I'm sure you are as well.
Extremely.
Getting used to the new norm in the home office.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that.
Absolutely. Okay, Brian, so maybe you wouldn't mind kicking off by telling us a little bit about your background, about yourself and ProCloud, the organization.
Yeah, so ProCloud have been in business almost 5 years. We started out in August of 2016, and we initially 3 people that founded the company. We've grown now, we're up at 16 people. We've seen a lot of growth in 3 particular areas that we focus on. One of those would be data center refreshes that we would carry out for large organizations from hundreds to thousands of users. That would be utilizing hyperconverged technology. The other area that we focus on is cloud technologies for smaller organizations that would want to outsource their entire IT footprint to a partner like ourselves, where we would take their IT and migrate it to the cloud and run it all from the cloud. And the third area that we focus on then would be in the whole data analytics space, where we utilize platforms like Microsoft Power Platform, Dynamics, Power BI, and so forth.
Brilliant. You've got all the bases covered then, I guess. And interestingly enough, for this conversation is around the cloud. Obviously, we've seen mass adoption of cloud in a myriad of different sectors, as you touched on there. Are there specific trends that you're seeing with cloud? Is it an all or nothing approach, or is it mostly strategic at the moment? Or given the kind of environments that we're working in at the moment, I guess there's been a big push for the home office side of things and getting cloud up and running very quickly.
Yeah, so what we are finding is with the smaller organizations, it's all in the cloud. It doesn't financially, economically, it doesn't make sense for a small organization to have any IT footprint on premise because of the complexity and the expense of maintaining it. That would have been the case even before the whole pandemic hit. But the pandemic really drove that home, because then all of a sudden you had people have a requirement to work from home. And having your IT footprint in the cloud, you're already ahead of the game. So with quite a lot of our customers, when the pandemic hit, we had two types of customers. We had those customers that were ringing us up when work from home became the thing, and they said, "What do we do?" And we were just able to tell those guys, "We'll go home, bring your laptop home, power it on, and carry on." Because those guys were already all in on the cloud, and they were utilizing technology like Windows Virtual Desktop from Microsoft. The other companies then would have had IT footprint on premise, and they were using VPNs and things like that, which would have been a lot more cumbersome to try and get those guys working from home. So certainly in the whole work from home space, having your IT footprint in the cloud is a boon. It helps. That would be for the smaller organizations. For the larger organizations, for those companies that would have hundreds of VM virtual servers, it does not make sense for those guys to, commercially, it doesn't stack up for those guys to put all their IT footprint in the cloud. So they would be operating in a hybrid scenario where they'd have a lot of their heavy compute would be on premise, and then they would have some of their workloads in the cloud. And we would work with those guys as well to enable them to be able to work from home.
Sure. Yeah, we've definitely seen a massive increase in this hybrid and slash sort of spoke type office environments booming. Obviously, leading on from that, ProCloud was a very early adopter in Windows Virtual Desktop, and with ezeep Blue being WVD launch partners, we of course got together. I guess it was the back end of 2019 on that focus on the WVD, the Windows Virtual Desktop side of things, and successfully brought it together to deliver a very powerful solution to the market. Would you mind walking us through what made you choose ezeep and the sort of benefits your customers see with the WVD combined with ezeep solution?
Yeah, so yeah, we were one of the early adopters on Windows Virtual Desktop. That's one of the things that we do, is that we take technology from companies like Microsoft, HPE, and big vendors like that. We take their technology, we work very closely with them to see what's coming down the track, and we jump on what we would consider to be the best of that technology. We identified Windows Virtual Desktop several years ago at a Microsoft event in Dublin, or maybe 3 years ago. So we had been doing a lot of testing with that. It went generally available in September 2019, and we went live with a customer that month in September 2019. That would have been on the first release of Windows Virtual Desktop. That was all Power BI based. There was a lot of command line, but it worked, and we had that customer up and running, and they were one of the customers that contacted us in May when the pandemic hit and said, what do we do? And we just said to them, go home, carry on. So it was an easy decision for them, and they were very good, very thankful that you know, we had the foresight to have them on that platform, because it made life easy for them. So then in May of 2020, Microsoft released, I suppose, the second iteration of Windows Virtual Desktop, which would have, it was a lot better. It integrated the GUI. It made it a lot easier for adding users, for getting oversight into what was going on in the backstage, getting access to the logs, the analytics, all that in the background. One of the problems with Windows Virtual Desktop is printing. I suppose the traditional way of doing it would have been printing redirect, like you would have been doing on a terminal server, but it doesn't really work. I never really liked that redirected printing. It works, but it's slow and it's troublesome. It's hard. We just didn't like it. We had a lot of kickback from our customers. It was costing our support guys a lot of time to maintain it. So we were in the market looking for a print solution, and that's when we engaged with yourselves with ezeep, and that ticked that box for us. So we just wanted a solution that worked, that removed the requirement for an on-premise infrastructure, because we didn't want to be managing any of that, and ezeep ticked that box.
Definitely, it's an ease of use setup out the box sort of idea. Yeah, I mean, for those of you who are unaware, ThinPrint's ezeep Blue is ThinPrint's printing solution for Windows 10, multi-session desktops hosted on Azure, and as Brian points out there, it ensures essentially a secure and easy connectivity to your existing print environments, and basically smooth printing from any device. I think you'd agree.
Yeah, so there's two scenarios. There's one where you would have the home users that might have a local printer connected. So ezeep works for those guys. It just basically connects that local printer direct back to the print server that's managed from Azure. And that's a big thing for us. We can manage all of this from Azure, from the single pane of glass. We log into the Azure portal and we can manage it all from there. So then we might have the office-based staff, the guys who are still based in an office, and then that's where we use the ThinPrint, the device where we plug it in. That's the ThinPrint server where we plug that in on-premise, and that manages all the local printers. And then Azure talk to that device, which manages all the printers on-premise.
Absolutely. So you're talking about, I mean, you utilize it with our hardware device, and we term that the ezeep hub. We also have a ThinPrint hub for the sort of on-prem side of our product line. So basically, I mean, as I see it, with ezeep hub, I look at it as a fire and forget device. You want to be pushing these devices out to your remote locations, even your home office users, as some people have, some customers have as well. There's no mechanical components, there's no maintenance, basically connects up, and it's obviously been very well received for the market.
Yeah, so it just plugs in on the network on premise. It's managed from Azure, so you've got to register it back to Azure. You manage it from there, and that device basically goes out. It discovers all the printers on the local area network, and it allows Azure, the easy tool in Azure, to be able to manage those printers. So you can do stuff like permissions, manage print queues, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, relatively straightforward. It is pretty intuitive. The first time we did it, the couple of steps involved in getting it set up, but then after that, then it is pretty straightforward.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a huge uptake in it, and it's only increasing. We've got different versions coming out shortly as well, which you'll be able to see some information coming out if you just look at the links at the end of this video. Whether you touched on it there, but were there any initial challenges being the early adopter and you know, basically convincing customers of migrating to the new tech? Or I guess that's something that your sales guys and your network of your customer base are very understanding of. Yeah, that you're the go-to guy in Ireland, I guess, for this kind of product.
Yeah, so our customers trust us. So if we recommend a solution to them, they generally take our word that it's a good solution. So it's based on trust. We don't go to our customers and give them, you know, put the hard sell on them or anything like that. We do the market research for them. We come to them and say, look, we've looked in the marketplace. This is the best solution out there. This is what we recommend to you. They trust us. We're their trusted partner. We would like them to see us as an extension of their company. So they outsource their IT to us, but we have a very intimate, close working relationship with them. So we have this, internally within ProCloud, we use a concept of a technical account manager. So we would have an account manager assigned to a small number of customers. So that person will build up a very tight relationship with the customer, and they would understand their needs because they're talking to them every day. It's not, I suppose, the way other companies might do it is they might have a help desk where a customer will ring in and they could get anybody on the help desk, but we don't operate like that. We have a technical account manager. So when one of our customers contacts us, they get through to their technical account manager. So that allows us to build up a very close relationship with the customer to understand their requirements. And it also builds trust. So that if we come to them and we say, listen, we've done the research, we've tested this, we know this works, we recommend this, they're happy to take that on board. So that wasn't really an issue from our perspective. Being the early adopters, yeah, you do have problems.
There's a lot of research that's gone into the back end before the words have even come out of your mouth. You know, this is what we recommend. Definitely a trusted advisor for your customers.
Yeah. But being the early adopter of any technology, like with Windows Virtual Desktop, there are teething problems. There are still teething problems, but I mean, the thing they come on leaps and bounds.
Sure.
You know, it's for a year and a half now, 2019. Yeah. So it's been out there for a while. A lot of the initial problems have been fixed, and the thing is so much better now than it was in September 2019. So when we jumped on it in September 2019, it worked, but there were a lot of bugs, stuff. We've learned an awful lot about it in a year and a half. Being the early adopters, you take a lot of pain initially, but then you get up to speed and you learn so much more about the product by overcoming those type of problems and finding solutions for them and finding workarounds. And we grow and develop with the product. So we would have a very intimate knowledge of Windows Virtual Desktop now, and we know all the ins and outs of it, what works, what doesn't work, what type of scenarios it will work well in, what type of scenarios it doesn't work well in. So yeah, there are pros and cons of being early adopters. We would see that as being, we don't have a choice. We've got to be early adopters because in IT, if you stand still, you're going to get left behind. I mean, I've been working in IT for 25 years now, and in the last 2 or 3 years, I've seen more change in those 2 or 3 years than I had in the 20 years before that. The pace of change is phenomenal, and you've got to be on this new technology because it's coming out all the time. There's new stuff happening every day, and you've got to be up to it. And you've got to be prepared to do the research, do the testing, try it out, and go for it.
Be ready to run. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we find it exactly the same, and you touched on it there, the support element side of things. I mean, back end, the beauty for this product, the ezeep Blue solution is, of course, on a commercial level, we operate on a subscription service, a nice ease of use subscription service. How have you found that the subscription service and the support given with the ezeep Blue side of things, tying in with the Azure product? The Windows Virtual Desktop product, I should say.
Yeah, so subscription is the way we want to go. The OpEx or the CapEx cost, it doesn't work for us. We don't like buying a device or a product or something up front and then having that depreciate. We prefer to pay on subscription. So everything we do is per user per month. So we have a cost per user per month. So Windows Virtual Desktop, the Microsoft licensing that goes with that, we break it all down, build in the Windows Virtual Desktop or the ezeep piece, then bundle that in, and that's all. It's per user per month, and that's how we bill our customers. It's per user per month. Everything is so. It gives certainty of cost. It helps us because it's on a subscription basis. We're only consuming it as we need it. We're not paying up front, and it's good for the customer as well because they're only consuming it as they need it. So finance people love it because it allows them to say, well, I'm going to hire a new person. This is what it's going to cost. I don't have to spend a couple of grand up front buying IT equipment and getting them all set up. I don't have to, my server there that I bought 2 years ago was good for 50 people, and now we're 70 people, and my server is not capable of managing that. I need to buy a new server. So that was the old way. So with the advent of cloud, that enables this subscription model. So you basically turn it up as you need it, you turn it down as you need it, and you only pay for what you consume. So absolutely, subscription is the way to go.
Yeah, we definitely find that as well. The subscription, as you say, flexibility, the scalability is there, of course, and the cost savings for the consumption model is definitely the way it's gone. And we tie in, as you say, with the Windows Virtual Desktop scenario, and the customer can only benefit on yourselves. Now, I guess, lastly, ProCloud, as the name suggests, and we've talked about mostly here, highly astute in the cloud game. What do you see as your future growth areas, or the areas you're going to be focusing on this coming year, Brian?
Yeah, so we are not, ProCloud are not IT generalists. We have this slogan where we go a mile deep and an inch wide. So if somebody comes to us and they're looking for services in a particular area that we don't specialize in, we'll redirect them elsewhere. So as I mentioned at the start of the call, there are 3 areas that we focus on, and that would be hyperconverged for on-premise data centers and hybrid cloud offerings for the larger organizations. We focus on managed cloud solutions for the smaller organizations that want to outsource their entire IT and move it all to the cloud. And then we do data analytics. They're the 3 areas that we focus on. We are seeing, we're seeing we're seeing a lot of growth, and where customers are actually coming to us. We're seeing a lot of opportunities in the whole data analytics space. That whole space around what we're seeing a lot of is customers will have software packages and they will have applications that do X, Y, and Z. They might have a finance application, they might have a manufacturing application, they might have a CRM application, an ERP, and so forth. But the reporting that they're getting out of those tools is not what they want. So we will fix that problem for them. We will utilize tools like Power BI, Power Apps to take data from multiple different sources and present it back to them in an interactive format that they can interact with their data. And it allows us to overlay data from different applications, from different sources, to give them information that they wouldn't normally have. So that's an area that we're seeing huge growth in. Windows Virtual Desktop and the whole cloud piece around what Microsoft are doing there. Teams is massive. Teams is really growing. That is, something we've been on since the early days as well. We focus very much on Teams. A lot of what we do, like IP telephony, we do that in Teams as well. So we do. We saw that, and that wasn't something we set out to do, but we wanted to meet a need from our customers. We were seeing this. People wanted to get rid of their on-premise PBX. There were other alternative solutions out there, but we wanted something that worked with Teams, and we came across an IP a telecom solution that works by surfacing your calls in Teams. So that's an area that whole area, anything that integrates with Teams, we're seeing this becoming very, very popular, because the research is out there that shows that email is a time killer. And I'm a culprit myself. I spend too much time in emails, so trying to get away from that and start using Teams more often for that quick, snappy communication. So we're seeing big growth in Teams, the whole data analytics space, and then the hyperconverged space, which we were early adopters on hyperconverged in Ireland as well. And we specialize in a product that HPE ultimately bought called HPE SimpliVity. It's a hyperconverged solution. So that area is growing. It's growing massively. So the traditional server SAN, that whole architecture is dying off, and companies are embracing hyperconverged. And we've been on this journey for a couple of years now, and we're seeing huge growth in that whole area.
For sure. Very busy. Brian, you are a very busy man, and thanks very much for joining me today and having this chat. I hope to get out to Ireland to see you guys when the situation improves. I guess we're all in the same boat. We want to get out and about, and it's a tight-knit community where, seeing it's all very well over Teams and everything else, seeing each other, but hopefully we'll be able to meet up soon.
Yeah, completely. Teams is great, but nothing like meeting people in person. Absolutely.
Guys, if you would like to get in touch with Brian and the team over at ProCloud, please have a look at procloud.ie. They'd be more than happy to have a chat with you. And similarly, myself and the team at ezeep and ThinPrint would be more than happy to go over our product suite and discuss any points that we've raised today. It's thinprint.com and ezeep.com respectively. Thanks very much for your time again, Brian. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch you on the next one.
You're welcome, Russell. Thank you.
Thanks.